Are you optimistic about, the shape your application is in and that it could get greenlit by January 10th?
Hoping.
This is a field that has built up around non-compliance, and that's their business model.
And you asked me for how far the Bitcoin price could fall. I mean, we know from past experience when the Bitcoin price falls, sometimes it really falls in ways that stock markets very, very rarely do.
Something big has come to my attention recently about Bitcoin. A big price crash is coming. At least that's my concern.
Yeah, I do have a sense of how far Bitcoin could drop if you don't get that approval. It's worth talking about.
So if Bitcoin's price does crash, let me show you how low the price is likely to fall, where I would be a buyer. Send this video to somebody who likes Bitcoin. This is one big issue that everybody seems to be forgetting about.
One factor I think that people are forgetting here, because we're hearing so many positive signs, like Cathie Wood, who you had on just the other day, talking about how there've been sort of behind closed doors discussions over the holiday period between SEC officials and, asking all kinds of technical questions, which makes it sound like they're about to dot the I's and cross the T's.
How would you summarize sort of the current state of progress on the Bitcoin ETF front?
I think we've crossed every T, dotted every I. We believe to the SEC's satisfaction.
But Gary Gensler, we know, he never has anything good to say about crypto, does he?
Right now, unfortunately, there's significant non-compliance, and it's a field which is rife with fraud, abuse, and misconduct.
So he is the unknown factor in all this, and frankly, he is the boss. So if he suddenly decides, no, it's not good enough, we need more things done. We know from past experience when the Bitcoin price falls, sometimes it really falls.
So let's understand the context of where we are with Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been pumping for over a year now. I was very bullish here, I was very bullish here, I was very bullish throughout this period. I told you how bullish I was in multiple videos throughout this whole time. Very few others were as publicly bullish as me on Bitcoin during this time. You're lucky if you subscribe to our channel, you're probably doing well. Today, before I share with you my biggest concern, before I share with you my one biggest concern, more broadly speaking, a major concern today of mine is that everybody now seems ultra bullish. Listen to Kate Rooney on CNBC perfectly articulate every single Bitcoin catalyst for 2024. All of these things that she's about to list to you, we were talking about all of these throughout the last 6+ months. It seems like mainstream media is watching us. Listen to every single point of hers, including the bonus points she throws in at the end. My question to you is, if she realizes all of this, is all of this already priced in?
Bitcoin's new bull run is being driven by two upcoming events. First, there's this hope for an ETF approval, and then something called the halving that's coming up in April. It's up 65% or so in the past 3 months. ETF, that is the big driver, guys, of this price action. The SEC has a January 10th deadline to approve or reject the ARK21 shares ETF. That's Cathie Wood's proposal there. Reuters reporting that the SEC could notify issuers as soon as this week if they've been cleared to launch those ETFs. If approved, guys, this would be a publicly traded fund tracking the price of Bitcoin. So investors theoretically wouldn't need to go to a crypto exchange or hold Bitcoin directly themselves. So it may lower the barrier to entry here. Because of that, some are arguing it's going to bring in a wider range of investors and then potentially more institutional interest. Then you've got something called the Bitcoin halving. That's coming up in April. The key thing to know about that, Bitcoin's new issuance gets cut in half. So it's a way to keep a cap on supply there. The code is written so there's only ever 21 million coins in circulation. This dynamic makes it less profitable, though, to earn new Bitcoin and more competitive for what are known as the miners. So these are the companies using those massive, high-powered computers to create new Bitcoin. Those mining stocks, you think of Marathon Digital, Riot Blockchain, those guys up about double digits today or so. MicroStrategy and Coinbase also higher this morning. Actually, Coinbase turning lower, down 6% or so. The other driver for Bitcoin, though, same thing, driving tech, small cap tech especially, some of the lower interest rates heading into this year, potentially, and return of risk appetite among retail investors.
So, I am long-term bullish on Bitcoin. Rest assured, I am bullish on Bitcoin this cycle. I'm bullish because of BlackRock, because of the grayscale verdict, because of the halving, because of the Fed rate cuts, because of general seller exhaustion, because of the fraud and leverage being flushed out, because of the presidential election, because of the Lindy effect, because crypto is being seen as a flight to quality, and many, many more reasons. I do believe that Bitcoin is in a bull market and Bitcoin hits 100K within the next 2 years, but the reason I am strongly considering selling and buying back lower in about 2 weeks, in about a month, is because of something called the Jim Cramer Bitcoin Reverse Indicator. Jim Cramer has like a 95% success rating at giving wrong crypto predictions. He says sell, the price goes up. He says buy, the price goes down. If you chart out his price calls, it's amazing how often he's been wrong. This is him throughout 2021 bull market. Wrong here, wrong here, wrong here, wrong here, wrong here. This is him at the beginning of 2023. The price was so low when he said this. Such a good time to load up and position yourself for a life-changing trade. We called him out on this at this time too. Do you remember when he got on TV and said this to you?
But now the big ones, Bitcoin and Ethereum, are cascading. I'm beginning to wonder whether one day, sometime soon, we won't even need to have these quoted on the side of the television screen anymore. Won't need, or maybe shouldn't. I think it's time we start questioning the fundamentals of crypto. And I don't like when we question the dot-com movement in 2000, 2001. When all things crypto took off with great fanfare, like the dot-com bombs, we were told that they were stores of value, that they meant something, that they would be around for a long time. I believe that rap. 300 of them went out of business. I'm at least big enough to admit that this time I was wrong about crypto. I wish the real promoters would do the same. Just because you make money in it, which I was fortunate enough to do, doesn't necessarily mean that it's for real.
So I think a sell the news type price crash is coming because Jim Cramer is very bullish again. Today, Jim Cramer just went on TV and proclaimed that crypto is real and crypto is here to stay. Listen.
This thing is, you can't kill it.
No, you can't.
And the late Charlie Munger, who was so brilliant on so many things, was blind to this. Now you can say, wait a second, maybe it's all going to come
Jamie
unravel.
Dimon has not spared any negative words.
No, but look, I mean, it's a reality and it's a technological marvel, and I think people have to start recognizing that it's here to stay. The SEC's been against it almost the whole time.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean that every one of these is here to stay, but I do think that this is a remarkable comeback that was unexpected, except for all the bulls who turned out to be right.
Gensler does a lot of jawboning.
Didn't work.
A lot of jawboning.
So, if Bitcoin's price is to crash in the short term, how low could we go? 30K, 20K, 10K? Once again, I want to reaffirm I'm bullish on Bitcoin over the next 2 years. I'm bullish on crypto this cycle. But like we talked about, Bitcoin has been increasing for over a year. So if a crash is due, this is what I'm looking at. Bitcoin drops down to $32,000. There's a lot of what used to be resistance, now is support. Bitcoin crashes down to $32,000. That's what I think is likely. Also possible that Bitcoin rallies up to about $60,000 and then crashes down to about $32,000 maybe in February. This is after a spot Bitcoin ETF gets approved. We have a continuation, price goes higher. People think, oh, 100K is right around the corner, but we, reverse back to the trend line, reverse back to the mean, and again, touch support at $32,000, ultimately a very healthy thing before then going up. It's also possible that all of us are maybe a little too bearish. All of us have been burnt by last cycle. All of us are in the disbelief stage. And it's very possible that something happens like what happened in 2019. Everybody thought 6K was going to be such huge resistance coming up, but Bitcoin just blew past that and never went below it again, except for the COVID Black Swan event. So it's also possible that Bitcoin just rallies up, breaks all-time highs, going into the halving. Of course, there will be pullbacks, there will be 30% corrections, but, another possibility is ultimately that the Jim Cramer effect doesn't work this time and, we have much higher to go. We are preparing for all scenarios here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We keep you updated on a daily basis. There is a lot of money to be made in crypto. Join the Altcoin Daily army. We give you an edge in the cryptocurrency market like the mainstream media would never do. Make sure you check out any of our videos from the past 6 months, chocked full of value. Guys, it's going to be a great year.